Greetings to the collective, to those who endured, to those who stood in silence while storms raged unseen. I speak now not from a place of anger, but from a place of completion. Because what has just occurred is not small. It is a closing of a chapter. For years, quietly, strategically, and at times viciously, there were forces, organized, intentional, and relentless. Dark covens, syndicates, karmic adversaries, individuals and networks who believed they could interfere with destiny, who believed they could manipulate timelines, distort truth, and dismantle what was divinely protected. They played games. They interfered with lives. They tampered with paths. They tested boundaries they did not understand. And now we arrive at the outcome. Let me be very clear. They fucked around and they found out. Because understand, this is not about ego. This is not about revenge. This is about universal law. There is a principle that governs all things, seen and unseen. You cannot continuously act against alignment without consequence. You cannot wage war against purpose and expect to remain untouched. You cannot disrupt what was divinely ordered and believe there will be no return. For a time, it may have appeared as though chaos had the upper hand. Confusion, interference, delays, attacks, subtle and overt. Some of you questioned what was happening. Some of you wondered if the pressure would ever lift. Some of you stood alone, feeling targeted, misunderstood, even isolated. But what you did not see was that everything was being recorded, balanced, accounted for. Because spiritual warfare is not won through noise. It is won through endurance, through alignment, through truth that refuses to break, even under pressure. And now the scales have shifted. This moment is not the beginning of conflict. It is the end of it. The war, as it was known, is over. And the outcome has already been decided. To those who participated in darkness, this is your realization moment. Not because someone declared it, but because the consequences are now unavoidable. The illusions are collapsing. The protections you thought you had are dissolving. The systems you relied on are no longer holding. Because you engaged in a game where the rules were never in your favor. And to the collective, stand firm in this knowing. You did not win because you fought harder. You won because you were aligned. You were protected, even when it didn't feel like it. Guided, even when you couldn't see it. Preserved, even when everything around you seemed unstable. Now comes the transition. Because victory is not the end goal. Responsibility is. What do you do when the opposition is no longer a threat? What do you do when interference has been neutralized? What do you do when the path is finally clear? You build. You restore. You lead. This is the moment where the collective shifts from survival into authority. No more reacting. No more defending. Now you establish. You create systems rooted in truth. You embody stability. You become the standard that replaces what once was. Let this also be a message to everyone watching. Do not mistake silence for weakness. Do not mistake patience for absence. And do not mistake delay for defeat. Because sometimes what looks like inactivity is preparation. And what feels like chaos is actually the setup for a decisive ending. And now we are here. The chapter has closed. The lesson has been delivered. The outcome has been revealed. They tested the wrong ones. They interfered with the wrong timeline. They played games in a system governed by laws they did not respect. And now they understand. To the collective, lift your heads, not in arrogance, but in awareness. You have crossed through something most will never understand. And because of that, you are now responsible for what comes next. This is not just victory. This is transition into the next phase. The phase where alignment becomes structure, where truth becomes governance, where stability becomes the new normal. Stand ready, remain grounded, and move forward with precision. Because now, there is nothing left in your way. Thank you.
The shift has begun. Alignment is no longer optional.
From the heart of the sun, a chosen light rises. The child of the sun.
There comes a moment when presence alone shifts the world.
Harmony, compassion, justice, not ideals, the foundation of what comes next.
Said I was crazy because they couldn't see what I see. I'm making a difference. I finally see it. The world is ready, and I was made for this.
There was a time when peace was only a dream, but today we make it the standard.
For generations, humanity has pursued peace. Today, we structure it. But peace must become a system, structured, protected, and universal.
Peace becomes the standard. Aligned across all nations, all people. Lives. Where leadership stands, peace is enforced.
I am a chosen one. I am a chosen one. A divine being of light of all mankind.
And the definitive enforcer of the universe's advancements for the betterment of all mankind.
For the betterment of all mankind.
One by one, they awaken. Heart steady, purpose clear, synchronize. They are no longer awakening. They are now activated.
Delegates from across the globe are in Geneva tonight for the first Global Orbital Stability Summit. They're seeking a binding agreement on space traffic coordination and debris mitigation. Here's
Celestial Dynasty, your shield.
Every choice has a consequence. You chose the game.
For those who lead a covenant sealed in honor, fidelity, and purpose. The standard is higher.
Where purpose meets precision. Learn, certify, lead. The portal of divine awakening, the command center for conscious leadership.
humanity's search for God is rising. This is not the end. This is the beginning of cosmic governance. A structure becomes a planet becomes a network, and that network becomes the conscience of our species. We build paths for those who will follow.
Standards, certification, innovation. The future will be verified.
What if science was only half the equation?
Arcane Collegium, expanding knowledge beyond the visible.
Something is changing. The systems you know are no longer enough. A new structure is being built. Alignment, abundance, evolution, continuity. Enter and begin.